For this last lecture, I want to touch on the very core of the theme of the summit, which is dream it and do it. And the core of my reflection is that we need to raise a generation that will wise up. Come on, say wise up. Not WhatsApp, but wise up. There was a time that ignorance plagued the earth. There was a time that not to know was the norm of the earth. There was a time that information was scarce. So scarce that for those of you who recall what cassettes were, we would buy a cassette and then have to share the cassette of a message or a teaching with 15 friends. And sometimes we go and buy empty cassettes to record certain information that was on the old cassettes that we have. Do you remember those days? Most of you don't know what cassettes are anymore. But in that season, in that era, information was scarce. Knowledge was hardly found. But that era has gone. Today, knowledge is everywhere. On social media, in classrooms, in summits like this, that is happening more and more everywhere. Before, you would need to pay 100,000 to attend a summit like this. Today, you don't have to. There's a time that you could claim that you are where you were because of what you didn't know. But today, knowledge is everywhere. There is an overflooding of knowledge across the world today. And then I begin to wonder, why are people not enjoying the fullness of their dreams with such flow of information and knowledge? Ignorance is the opposite of knowledge. Do you agree? But let me rephrase that. Ignorance is the opposite of valid knowledge. Because in this generation, we need to begin to distinguish knowledge. There is a knowing that is not valid. There is a knowing that is valid. The same way that a number of things needs to be redefined, even marriage. Now, people are married in different ways. So, when you say, I am dating, you have to ask, is he a guy? Or is he a girl? It doesn't matter who told you that information. So, not every knowledge is valid. Do we agree? Ignorance is the opposite of valid knowledge. But laziness is still worse than ignorance. Because sometimes you cannot help but be ignorant. I am an architect. I don't know what pharmacist Isaac knows as a pharmacist. Not because I don't want to know. I cannot know. You know what I'm saying? So I am ignorant of pharmaceutical science, because I cannot help it. I am a trained architect. I am ignorant in the knowledge of pharmacy. Sometimes you cannot help but be ignorant over certain issues of life. But you can always help laziness. Laziness doesn't happen by chance. Laziness is deliberate, intentional uselessness of your life. Put in Oxford, Apeh Harrison. Ignorance is bad, but ignorance is not as bad as laziness. I'm saying this because we need to know how to do it. We have taught you enough to dream big. You have finished dreaming. Do it. So laziness is worse than ignorance. We all agree on that. But I came to an awareness recently that foolishness is worse than laziness. Don't laugh yet. Laziness is as bad as it gets. Laziness stinks. Laziness is a curse. You need deliverance. But foolishness is worse than laziness. What scares me about foolishness is not the fact that it is worse than laziness, is that to be foolish, you need to know. You cannot be ignorantly foolish. Foolishness requires knowledge. Because, follow me carefully now, foolishness is the opposite of wisdom, as much as ignorance is the opposite of valid knowledge. Wisdom is your ability to apply valid information. Foolishness is your refusal, not inability. Is your refusal to apply valid knowledge. You may be ignorant, it is bad. If you are lazy, it is worse. If you are foolish, you have died. There is nothing else to do for you. Because you need to know to be foolish. And that is a curse of this generation. Forgive my language, this is a generation of foolish people. People that know too much, have too much, and they are doing nothing. Foolishness is what I define as mental suicide. Suicide is a kind of death that you brought on yourself intentionally. Death may come, but suicide is a man that decides to end his life before his days. And that is why this summit meant so much to me. Because when I read through pages on the social media, I see so much knowledge. And then I look at the life of the handler of the page, and there's nothing to show. You are quoting Martin Luther King. You are quoting Barrister Ocholi, Isaac Onoja, Sam Ikani. You haven't given us new principles, 10 principles of success. Hi. Someone sent me a message on Instagram. If you go to my page, it's there. When we're publishing this summit, he said, I'm an orphan. Please, I need 3,000. Oh, are you the one? Oh, you saw it. I would have called you here now to learn something. I need 3,000. I just lost my cleaning job. I'm done with my lecture. I'm done. So, what I asked myself, don't show me again. I said, I'm done. I have 5 more minutes. I want to give it up. I want to dash you. But what came to my mind is, what did he use to send me that message? He has data. He has a phone. And certainly, he has a hand. If his hand cannot work for him, he can sell his phone. And I can promise you that his phone is more than 3,000. Like my friend Ekele would say, who did this to us? A generation blessed with the greatest resource, with the shortest and smallest growth, especially on this side of the world. It is time to do it. You have dreamt enough. Morning has come. Wake up. People dream at night. They walk in the morning. You have been dreaming. Night time. It's 7 a.m. Wake up and do it. God bless you. I love you.